From MTN News, this is Montana This Morning.
Two Montana brothers enter pleas for their involvement in the January 6th riot at the Capitol. We have an update on that story coming up. And congressional candidate Ryan Zinke facing accusations of wrongdoing when he was Interior Secretary. We have details and his reaction coming up in about 3 minutes. Meantime, 6:31, Chet Lehman, Matt Elwell with you here. A few clouds in the sky over the mining city this morning, and some of those clouds yesterday producing some pretty good rain.
Absolutely. I've got some lightning, and I'll talk in a little bit more detail about some of the timing of yesterday's rain, what we can expect this weekend. Right now, our radar, pretty clean sweeps. A little ground clutter off to the north, but we may see a few showers try to develop in the areas get into the mid to late part of the afternoon. I don't think the vast majority of us have much of an opportunity to see raindrops today. In fact, today, while we do have that slight chance of rain for Bozeman, I think Butte stays dry. A little more wind, but very comfortable temperatures. So soak them in while they're here. Speaking of soaking in, we may have some rain this weekend. We'll talk more about that coming up from the weather patio in just a little bit.
All right, thanks, Matt. 6:32 now, an update on a court case against Joshua and Jared Hughes, two East Helena brothers who are accused of being some of the first rioters to enter the U.S. Capitol on January 6, 2021. MTN's John Riley has the update.
On Thursday, Joshua and Jared Hughes entered guilty pleas for obstruction of an official proceeding at the U.S. Capitol on January 6, 2021, after agreeing to a plea deal. The brothers were facing 9 charges, but by pleading guilty to the obstruction charge, the government will drop the other charges. The East Helena brothers are accused of being some of the first to enter the U.S. Capitol during the riot. Footage from the Department of Justice shows the two men entering through a broken window on the north side of the building shortly after 2:12 p.m. Jared can be seen on a security video attempting to kick open a locked door. With assistance from another man, the two are able to force open the door. The brothers then moved with the crowd towards the Senate chamber. On their way, they encountered Capitol Police Officer Eugene Goodman, who led rioters away from the Senate as it was being evacuated. Goodman has been hailed as a hero for his actions and was awarded the Congressional Gold Medal. Jared and Joshua Hughes were later seen on the floor of the Senate looking at documents and papers left by senators and Senate staff. Under sentencing guidelines, the recommended sentencing for Joshua Hughes is up to 4 years and 3 months in prison, and the recommended sentencing for Jared Hughes is up to 5 years and 3 months in prison. A fine of $15,000 to $150,000 has also been recommended. However, the ultimate decision of sentencing is up to that federal judge. A tentative sentencing date has been scheduled for November 22nd. In Helena, John Riley, MTN News.
All right, 6:34. A federal inspector general's report released this week accused Republican congressional candidate Ryan Zinke of misleading investigators while serving as U.S. Interior Secretary. But Zinke pushed back on the report's findings and its timing. TN's senior political reporter Jonathan Ambarian breaks down the claims.
In 2018, federal investigators interviewed then Interior Secretary Ryan Zinke about his department's handling of a tribal casino proposal in Connecticut. Now, a new report claims Zinke made misleading statements during those interviews. Zinke's attorneys say he was fully truthful and call the report's findings inaccurate.
The 44-page report was posted Wednesday by the Department of the Interior's Office of the Inspector General. It found Zinke and his former chief of staff, quote, did not comply with their duty of candor when questioned about their role in the decision, and that they, quote, made statements to OIG investigators with the overall intent to mislead them. In 2015, 2 Connecticut tribes planned to build a jointly owned casino on non-tribal land, in reaction to a new casino across the state line in Massachusetts. They proposed amendments to their tribal gaming rules and compacts, and Zinke, as Interior Secretary, was responsible for approving them, rejecting them, or allowing them to go into effect. Instead, he returned the amendments, saying they were premature and the department didn't need to act on them. The report says lobbyists for the Nevada-based owner of the Massachusetts casino, as well as a Nevada senator, talked to Zinke and other Interior staff, arguing the department didn't have the authority to approve the amendments because they'd expand tribal casinos to non-trust land. According to the report, Zinke told investigators he made the decision himself and didn't talk to people outside the department about their arguments. But the Inspector General said they found his testimony less credible than the external parties who said they did discuss the amendments with him. Zinke's attorneys said he had always felt he didn't have jurisdiction in this case, so he wasn't influenced by lobbying, and a federal judge found his decision wasn't improper. They also argued the report should have been delayed until after the election so it wouldn't prejudice the campaign. In a statement after the report came out, Zinke's attorney said, quote, "Put simply, Secretary Zinke was completely candid in his interview and was legally vindicated by the court's decision. The content of the IG report and the timing of its release will be seen for what it is, another political smear." In Helena, Jonathan Amberian, MTN News.
All right, 6:36 now. So often you hear of a large company leaving a small town and the town just drying up. It's happened in so many cities across the country, but it doesn't have to be that way. In this morning's To America's report, Matt Pearl takes us to a community that not only embraced the news, they're a town that is now thriving.
As late as maybe 2009, 2010, you'd go outside of the community and they'd say, "Well, where are you from?" "From Newton." Oh, you poor folks. We feel so sorry for you.
In 2009 and 2010, Newton, Iowa was one of far too many examples of company towns whose companies had moved on. Today, it's among the few examples of towns that have bounced back.
Yet you can't really prepare for something that enormous. I mean, it was enormous.
Frank Liebel has been there for all of it. Well, maybe not all. 115 years where Newton was synonymous with Maytag, but he lived there nearly 2 decades when Maytag left.
When you look at a company that had been here 100 years, there were families that had 3 generations that worked at Maytag. That's, about one out of every 4 or 5 people that worked there, or if they didn't work there, they had cousins, brothers, relatives that were associated with it. And it took a while to get over the fact that we lost this company.
In that moment 15 years ago, nearly 2,000 people lost jobs, and a town lost its industry and identity. Across the country, cities like Flint, Michigan and Muncie, Indiana have spent decades trying to replace jobs that seemingly aren't coming back. Same goes for countless coal mining towns across Appalachia.
This image of the campus and surrounding blocks of the campus.
Kim Didier worked at Maytag on its last day in town. On this day, she gives a tour that shows its still sizable footprint.
Most of the time when we would raise funds for projects in town, Maytag would pledge to fund half of it, and then we'd raise the other half from people who worked at Maytag.
But when Maytag left, leaders in Newton didn't wait long to move on.
We decided early on that we can't feel sorry for ourselves.
Liebel says Newton recruited 12 new companies within 4 years, many in rising industries like wind energy. Those companies replaced Maytag's jobs and in some cases retrained its employees.
Over the course of time, about 1/3 of their employees were former Maytag people. So they had to retrain and learn new skills, and great thing for the community, and they were willing to do that.
In essence, companies come and go, but you got to hang on to your talent, and that was our strategy, was to hang on to the talent.
They also invested in housing, adding units and offering $10,000 to anyone building a new home. That offer still exists today. As a result, during a decade where the majority of American counties saw their population fall, the city of Newton has seen it rise. Rise fits in multiple ways. Other towns have begun offering incentives for people to move. Other cities have gotten serious about retraining their workforce. Newton has become a blueprint. For Frank Liebel, it's risen well past its previous reputation.
What we hear now is, where are you from? You're from Newton? Wow, you guys got a lot of great things going on there. I think that the attitude around the community is, we're not done growing yet.
In Newton, Iowa, I'm Matt Pearl.
It's amazing what can happen with a little forward thinking. 6:40, time for a break here on Montana This Morning.